Welcome back, adventurers. Joel DD Algren here. Today we are going to try something a little bit different. Going to try out the new format. Instead of me showing you my own brews, I will present the top brews of the week from over at r/DnDHomebrews. In this format, like I said, we're going to look at the top brews of the week. That is to say, we're going to look at the brews that has at least 100 upvotes or more. We're going to try and keep it to at least one item, a race or a monster, class, subclass, and a feat or ability of spell, something in that way. I'm going to try and break it down, putting in my 2 cents about the brew as well. So I hope that you enjoy this new content. If it goes well, I will try to do this at least once a week. So without further ado, let's have a taste of this week's top brews. Let's start off small with a half-finished brew, but it has over 100 upvotes, so it still makes the cut. Just a fair bit of warning here for the Aussies out there. You might get PTSD from this one. This is a stat block for the emu, created by Urban Coyote 7057. Not too much to say about this one really. Quick glance shows that it is truly not finished really, as put up here on Reddit at least. But it's a really fun idea. Personally, I really like low-level monsters. There's a lot of use for them, and to be honest, not too many fun ones. I'd say, taking a quick look at this one here, it's a CR half to 1-ish, at least what I think, because it has multi-attack, but it has a low HP pool of around 11, if I'm not counting that wrong. So it can be killed quite quickly, but it can be very nasty if it gets in a round or two into a level 2-3 party of PCs. Maybe actually I will expand on this little stat block later on, because I do have a few Aussies playing in my games from time to time. So that could be very, very fun for sure. Next up, we have an item just breaching the 100 upvote mark as of writing this at least. It is posted by, I'm going to butcher this name to be honest, but it should be here on screen as well, so you should be able to see it. Aginamad, maybe? This is a war pick named Last Nail. It's a rare magical item requiring attunement, just like most magical items do, of course. A nice bit of lore here to start off with. Very evocative writing. I like it a lot, so let's take a look here. The barrier between life and death is not a door. It is a deep pit from which none are meant to return. Those who do are trespassers in the land of light. High Chamberlain of the Order of the Purging Sun. Well, to me, that sounds like a really great villain. I'd definitely put that one in as an antagonist in one of my campaigns for sure. Let's take a little look here at the effects that this magical item actually gives us. It is, like I said, a magical weapon, so all damage should be magical, I assume. Doesn't say anything about that, but I would assume that. It is not a plus weapon, so it won't give you any pluses to damage rolls or attack rolls. I think that's a good thing sometimes. We should remember as brewers that we don't always have to give weapons a plus to attack and damage rolls. So some effects then, right? Because of course it has. Death's Grasp is the first effect. This effect makes it impossible to regain HP if you are struck by this weapon until the start of the owner's next turn. A good solid ability for sure. I like it. It's nice, evocative, works really well with the lore of the weapon. Next is the ability Finishing Blow. This gives you a chance to make an extra attack as a reaction. This is triggered if a creature within 5 feet of you takes damage from an attack that is not against you. That is quite big, to be honest. This attack also deals an extra D10 piercing damage. To be honest, this one finishing blow, to me at least, sounds a little bit too powerful. At least keeping in mind what it says as written. It states a creature, so it does not have to be an ally of yours that gets targeted by this attack for you to trigger this. It also doesn't say that it has to be that you have to attack the person that made you trigger this. So let's say the person attacked something next to you, you don't have to attack that person with your extra attack. I can see this being a little bit too overpowered. You could have this trigger of an ally attacking a creature next to you, so you get an extra fear attack. That could be very powerful, especially for something like a warrior, for sure. Though, I can see many cool ideas with this. I just think we need to rebalance the finishing blow there a little bit. Otherwise, that one is really cool, I think. Just as I said, a little bit of rebalance work there.
Next, we're going to look at Madness by Nikoves. This is something that is dear to my own heart. It's a new system of how to handle madness in your D&D campaign. It has over 400 upvotes when writing this, so I think it earns its place. Let's take a deeper look. The madness system overall is where your characters can go through 6 levels of madness. Each level has its own distinct effect. You gain points of madness, or MP, leading you deeper into this spiral, with points towards sanity or PTS that will help mitigate these effects. You're gonna do rolls against madness, or RAM. These are done in psychologically stressful and challenging situations. Successes means you gain no MPs, while failures obviously is gonna lead towards more MPs. Critical results, as stated in this document, might be worse or better for you, with some suggestions here, as we can see as well. When you fail normally, you also go through something called a jolt of fear. This is a consequence to failing these RAMs, causing minor reactions like jumping in fright, alerting enemies, just like he suggests here, or they suggest, I should say. Gaining sanity can be done through 2 different ways. One, by witnessing a nat 20 by an ally, sort of like them inspiring you to do better. Or doing a calming activity once per long rest. I think it's very good that they have limited this to once per long rest, so you can't just take all the madness away immediately, but still having a way to mitigate the points every now and then. So I think that's very good.
Okay, so let's look at the madness levels specifically. So level 0 is coping, so that's just baseline for everyone. No madness, no penalties, no nothing. Once you get 4 points of madness, you reach phobia. So a character develops an irrational fear, just like a phobia is, right? Spiders, something similar, or as it states, something specific to your campaign. But you also gain a penalty on all checks related to this fear. And if I didn't misread before, you also gain this penalty to all your RAM rolls as well. At second level of madness, this is reached at 8 points, so doubling what you needed before. Good touch there. Not only does your penalty go up to -2 instead of -1, you also have to do a wisdom saving throw. DC only 12 to maintain controlling stressful situation. I like this a lot. I think this is a huge potential for roleplay, both from the DM and, of course, the player that is affected by this. Level 3 is compulsions. Daily life becomes disruptive, and you get some sort of compulsion. The saving throw difficulty also from level 2 is increased to 15. Nice touch. Bring that up a little bit as well. Character must focus on their fixation once a day, usually on at least spending 1 short rest, as he states, or suffer disadvantage on D20 rolls. I mean, this is big. It's very huge. It's a very, very big negative effect. But you also need to gain 12 madness points to even reach this level. So I'd assume it's very late on. Yes, a 15 DC wisdom saving throw, but at that point I think that should be manageable unless you have rolled really poorly early on and are here quickly. Level 4, disconnection. The character starts to hallucinate, seeing shit. Obviously up to your DM, as always, to work with you, what you're seeing. Presumably related to your fear, of course. Here, your penalty becomes -3 instead of -2, as it was before. Your DC for the saving throw is also increased to 18 to even be able to discern reality in and of itself. But here, again, we need 16 madness points to get up to this. Lastly, however, we have complete madness. The mind unravels, you lose control of yourself, you can become aggressive, paralyzed, but you are basically an NPC now under the DM's control. This is very harsh, of course, but it's 20 points to get there. So that's quite hard to do, maybe. Again, you always have a chance every day to at least lower it by 1. So yeah, it's a lot. I, though, see this as very fun. Though I am the DM most of the time, almost always. But I can see a lot of potential for this supplement, for great roleplay. Obviously, this supplement is not at all for every group. You should really talk with your group if you want to implement this into your game. Overall, really fun mechanics, very well done. There's probably some balancing issues here and there, but that can always be done by yourself as the DM, or I'm sure Nico here might maybe fix it later on. Who knows? Depends on how much traffic he gets on this one, I guess. Or her. I don't know if it's a he or she. Sorry about that. Well done, Nico. Really, really well done indeed. I like it a lot. Hopefully we can see more of your work coming up here later as well. Thank you very much for that one, Nico. Lastly, this week, Topper here. With almost 2,000 upvotes, actually, and the clear winner of the week. This is a class. It's called the Ordinaire. It's based around the idea of playing a commoner or an NPC, sort of. Yeah, the farmer, everyone that you meet as the adventurer in town around yourself. We're going to take a little deeper look here at this one as well. Its unique mechanics and how it works. We are not going to look at the whole thing. That would be a whole video just by itself, so keep that in mind. I'm just going to do a quick overview, but links to all of this will be in the description anyway, so if you like it, you can go and have a look at it. First, standard class features. Let's take a look at them. We have a D4 as your hit die, so I mean that's very low already there, but we can look a little bit lower and we see that we actually do start with a D6, a full 6 plus your con. I think that's a fun little choice there to bulk yourself a little bit at level 1. I mean, otherwise having a D4 plus con would be super, super low. So that's a good choice. Proficiency, you have light armor, simple weapon. You get 2 tools of your choice. That's a nice one. Saving throws in intelligence and wisdom. Seems good, seems balanced, a little bit different. I think that's interesting. This one is quite big though. You have 5 skills of your choice. I mean, that's even more than both the bard and the rogue, if I'm not completely mistaken. I like this though. It's a nice balancing act. I mean, you have lower HP. You are a working person. Maybe you have learned a few extra tricks. Nothing much to say about the other abilities here. Standard starting gear with weapons and things like that. Packs are pretty non-standard though. Diplo pack or scholar pack, fun choice. No explorer pack or adventurer pack here for you as one of the ordinaries. Interesting choice. I like it. Let's take a look what you get for levels and things like this. So at level 1, you pick your call to adventure. This is where you seem to be picking from the three subclasses here for this class. You have the Fool, the Curator, and the Secret. We will obviously take a quick look at them as well here in a bit. There are some interesting things there for sure. I think it's pretty cool. But we're gonna start off with the class as a whole, and then we look at the sub features after that. So no, nothing else there. You also get here at second level instead. You get Little Folk and Know Your Limit. Little Folk, basically you are good at talking with townsfolk. A fun way to reinforce roleplay aspects, I think, for sure. And it can be super useful gaining advantage talking to anything from shopkeepers to guards to farmers to anyone you need some information from, right? I would assume this would extend to guards and shopkeepers and tavern owners as well. They're the little folk, right? Know your limit. So here we get some combat effects, sort of. You get disengage as a bonus action and advantage against attacks of opportunity. So, I mean, this is a homebrew. Some spelling and structure mistakes will obviously be there. I think this might be that you have advantage on attacks of opportunity, so when you do them, or that attacks of opportunity has disadvantage on you. I think the latter one is more likely as you are ordinary, right? Maybe you're good at getting away from the situations, maybe not attacking the situation, right? So at level 3, obviously you get another subclass ability, nothing more than that. So again, we're going to take a look at that here in just a moment. Level 4, you get your ASI as normal, and you get the ability I Know a Guy. Now, this is an interesting little concept here, I think. I can see potential problems with it, but I also think it sounds very, very fun. Basically, this gives you an NPC helper once per day. The level of this NPC depends on your points in this ability. So you get more points, you can get higher level NPCs. It's a really interesting effect, I think, but again, it can become a little bit problematic having more characters to keep track of and things like that. I mean, the game can already be a little bogged down as is. Lastly here, before we look at the subclasses, I'm gonna take a look at the level 5 one here as well. You get Help Me, a very, very powerful ability and very open for abuse for sure. It is an interesting concept, giving adjacent allies +2 to AC and to all saving throws as long as they take attacks instead of you. I mean, if you're next to someone that's already packing like plate armor, or not even just plate armor, just standard chainmail and shield, I mean, their AC is already 18, so they would have AC of 20. They're gonna be able to tank most hits without even taking damage there. So maybe that needs to be rebalanced a bit. I think so. Yes, it is a level 5 ability, but I think it's quite high and very open for abuse. Now let's take a look a little bit at one of these subclasses. We're not going to look at all of them really. We're going to take a look at the first one, the Fool. I looked at this and I thought this looked really cool, so that's why I want to go over this one specifically, or at least a little bit. So the Fool, it seems highly customizable with this Fate and Fortune ability. You get this at level 1. You start by picking 1 fortune from quite a big list. You also gain 2 fate points. They are used to activate your fortune. You gain the points at a long rest. It costs 1 point to activate 1 fortune. You gain another 2 points and 1 more fortune at level 3, 6, and 10. So 4 fortune and 8 points altogether. Keep in mind, a fortune can only be used once per combat, so you can't use the same fortune twice in one combat, and it costs a bonus action to use them. I think this is a really good balance. limiting it to once per combat, meaning that you can boost the effects of these without making it too imbalanced, or at least I think so. So I think that's a great choice. Let's take a look at some of these. I'm going to look at 3 of them that I picked out that I thought sounded really fun. First one is the Magician. With this ability, you can restore a spell slot equal to half your level. You can do this to yourself or another creature that can hear you. So I'm unsure distance-wise for that one. I'd probably just write in there as well, saying it's a 60 feet or 120, whatever it is. It just needs some sort of limiter there, because just hearing is not something we use that much in D&D, right? But this is really, really cool and very useful. Maybe a little bit OP, but I think as it's limited to once per combat and it's half your level, sure, if you go full in, eventually, yes, you could restore a 9th level spell slot. But I mean, at that point, you're pretty much playing a god anyway, so who really cares? Next one is Wheel of Fortune. This is for all the gamblers out there. This is why I like it, and I know some of my players would really like this ability. I have a few gamblers out there. You know who you are. When you crit, you can gamble. You can basically double down on this. So either you're going to do a massive crit or you're going to miss completely. You roll a dice, any dice you want, it doesn't matter. On evens, you double the effect of your crits. On odds, you don't get a crit at all. Super fun. I mean, it can go right to shit, so to speak, but it can also be really, really cool, especially as you are supposed to be an ordinary little farmer, right? You just come in there and do a massive, massive crit. Last ability here I wanted to look at is the Tower. Fail a roll and get +5 to the next. I think this is a great idea. It's so simple, so easy, but can be really massive. Yes, you could abuse this in many ways. Just trying a check that you obviously will fail to get an extra +5 to something more important later on that you need an extra boost and really, really want to succeed on. But that being said, there's plenty of abilities that could do sort of similar things. Just guidance. I mean, yes, it's a D4 instead of flat 5, but this uses a resource. Guidance does not. So I think that's great. So, if you like this class, if you're interested in looking at it more, it will be linked below, of course. This was created by plump_chicken on Reddit. Everything we have talked about here today will, of course, be linked in the descriptions below. Have a look at all these creators. They're really, really good at what they do. And I just want to do this to highlight all the amazing things we get over at DnDHomebrew on Reddit there. Thank you very much, adventurers, for listening today. Please, if you like this, subscribe, like, comment, all that stuff. Thank you very much. Until next time, adventurers, see you around.